go. Hello, viewers. My name is Zach Hardy, and this is the Half Hour Wrestling Podcast, Episode 6. But this is now, it's not always half an hour, since this is now the UnitardZZ Wrestling Podcast. So, yes, Wrestling Podcast, previewed by my name. So this is UnitardZZ Wrestling Podcast, Episode 6. Today we talk about the Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt storyline, what Luke Harper and Eric Rowan will do now, Seth Rollins versus John Cena, question marks in Cena, why put Cena in these rivalries, Henry's attack on the Big Show, Team Cena versus Team Authority, when will we see Daniel Bryan again, Titanfall and Crimson Red best feud in USW right now, Capital running for reign record, and why Ezra Hills could win at Bulletproof 7, along with the 11th topic, which is the question of the podcast or whatever. So, first off, let's jump into the Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt storyline. This past Sunday at Hell in a Cell, we saw Dean Ambrose pretty much have Seth Rollins beat, and just as he's, beating him down, I guess when he's getting close to the end of the match, Bray Wyatt shows up and attacks Dean Ambrose and costs him the match. Now, this follows up onto Monday Night Raw by Dean Ambrose calling out Bray Wyatt, attacking Cesaro, and then Bray Wyatt responding by sending out these vivid messages or responses to Dean Ambrose's calling him out. And this is obviously setting up for a Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt storyline. Let me tell you this, they will get back into the Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose feud at some point, whatever. But it's easy for Seth Rollins to, move into a different rivalry. The struggle was to find a way to have Dean Ambrose in a rivalry and keep him relevant. And the way they did that at Hell in a Cell was a very good idea. I wouldn't have thought of it. I didn't think of it, as well. But having Bray Wyatt cost him the match, that was a smart way to go about it. And I'm kind of happy to see the WWE, trying when it comes to the new kind of rivalries. Because, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt, they're relatively new. They haven't been in there for years and years and years. So it's a good, balance to maintain storylines with both your top performers and your top newcomers. And it's interesting to see how the WWE is responding to the fans' interests. The fans obviously are getting behind Dean Ambrose, and they're obviously giving so much heat to Seth Rollins that it's turning into the WWE realizing that the fans want more Dean Ambrose and want to have more Seth Rollins, so that way they can hate on Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is pretty much the most hated guy in the WWE right now, which is a great fit because you want someone like that in the WWE. I think a few years ago it was Randy Orton who was the most hated guy in the WWE, and I'm going to talk, and I'm sorry, not talk about, but I'm referring to the actual wrestlers. Like, Randy Orton was a wrestler. John Laurinaitis was a hated guy in the WWE in 2011, but he was not a wrestler. So, you had Randy Orton a few years ago. You have John Cena right now, even though he's a face. But I'm referring to bad guys, that are most hated characters. So, Seth Rollins, right now, nowadays, is the most hated guy in the WWE. And that's an interesting position for both Seth Rollins and for the fans. You want to see the fans, mostly the reviewers, want to see what Seth Rollins can do, if he can pull off being the most hated guy in the WWE, and he's done that so far. And now the WWE, the creative team, have realized that the fans want more Dean Ambrose, so they're giving them more Dean Ambrose. They're keeping Dean Ambrose relevant for the fans, and at the same time, they're keeping Bray Wyatt relevant, which is something that Bray Wyatt really needed. The character really needed to stay relevant because he was fading out quickly. So this was a great way to surface him back up, especially after, setting free himself and the other two members. I'm referring to Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. So this should be an interesting storyline. I'm really looking forward to it. And the next pay-per-view we have is Survivor Series, so I'm very interested in it. And I'm interested in seeing what they do at Survivor Series. expect this match to go, or this rivalry to go for a few months, maybe 2 or 3, and then, it's possible that you would see Dean Ambrose back arguing against Seth Rollins, and Bray Wyatt would do something else, or you have Dean Ambrose do something else, and then go against Seth Rollins afterwards. So it's going to be interesting to see how this storyline plays out, and I'm looking forward to it. Speaking of Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, here's one of the questions that I'm going to ask you, and then I'm going to try to answer myself. What are Luke Harper and Eric Rowan going to do next? Now, honestly, I don't see Eric Rowan making it big time in the WWE. I see him being a strong mid-carder, but only for maybe a month or two. So I honestly see Eric Rowan either going back down to NXT or just being released from the WWE, because I don't know what they can really do with Eric Rowan. The mid-card, it's pretty stacked up for the most part, and the main event card, that's already stacked up. So it's interesting. It's gonna be pretty cool to think about what they're gonna do with Eric Rowan, because what can you do with Eric Rowan? Maybe give him a U.S. title run or an Intercontinental title run. And then also, what's going to happen with Luke Harper? I see Luke Harper being easier to, I guess, put into feuds or put into storylines and keep relevant than Eric Rowan, but I don't see it being very easy. I see it being pretty hard. Luke Harper also could have a U.S. title run or an Intercontinental title run. That would be pretty interesting to see where he goes with that, and maybe you can later on have a Luke Harper versus Eric Rowan feud. I guess you can see who was the didn't mean to do that. You get to see me repair a thing right here. Hey, it works. Anyway, after that interruption, fuck you. It'd be interesting to see who, the Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, who was the most powerful servant for Bray Wyatt, and maybe they can have that right out of the gate, and then see what they can do with Luke Harper and Eric Rowan after. I think that would be interesting, and I think I could see both of them being champion at the same time, like Luke Harper being Intercontinental Champion and Eric Rowan being the U.S. Champion, and I feel like that is the best way to go about this situation, because what else can you do with Luke Harper and Eric Rowan? I mean, they were a good tag team, I guess, but, what else are they going to do besides being a tag team? And then if you, were to team them up, then it would seem like they were still like Bray Wyatt's servants. So it's not, if you were to team them up, it would be like they're not really going too much farther from Bray Wyatt, or distancing themselves away from Bray Wyatt, because they were doing this often when they were a tag team, when they were with Bray Wyatt. So now that they're not with Bray Wyatt, they need to distance themselves away, and that means a singles career, if not maybe team with somebody else. I don't know. But I see them being pretty good, mid-carders and singles, having a good singles run. I think Eric Rowan will be the first to bite the dust, and then if they don't use Luke Harper well, then I think Luke Harper will end up biting the dust, but I don't think he'll bite the dust before Eric Rowan. Now, it's sad that the WWE doesn't always have these great rivalries for these great talents, because Luke Harper and Eric Rowan are great young talents. So we'll just see where the WWE takes these storylines, or takes these characters. Now that Bray Wyatt's back and feuding with Dean Ambrose, we're waiting to see what happens with Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. So that's that, and let's move on to the third topic, which is Seth Rollins versus John Cena. Now they've obviously been hinting to this for a few weeks now. Maybe not towards a match, but towards like this feud, I guess. And last Monday on Raw, they had an interesting matchup before. Obviously, you know what the ending was. It was a DQ finish by Kane interfering. and then for some reason the entire locker room came out and started brawling with each other. Honestly, I see Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton pretty soon. I see Randy Orton becoming a face, and Seth Rollins staying as a heel and arguing with Randy Orton, and Orton going against the Authority, possibly going on Team Cena at Survivor Series, which I'll get into later on in this video. But Seth Rollins has better places that he can go than John Cena, because John Cena is feuding with the Authority. Now that Dean Ambrose pretty much, I guess, distancing himself away from the Authority, I mean, unless Bray Wyatt was paid by the Authority, now John Cena is pretty much the only guy there, which is why it's called Team Cena versus Team Authority. And once again, I'll get into that later on in the review. My hair is just fucking chaotic right now. Anyway, so Seth Rollins versus John Cena, that was a good match on Monday, till obviously the interference came with every single wrestler in the locker room. That's it. I don't see John Cena versus Seth Rollins anytime soon, and if so, then he's probably going to bury Seth Rollins, which is not good. And I'm going to skip the why put Cena in these rivalries topic, because I'm pretty much talked about this many times. John Cena is just stupid. How John Cena is being inserted into these great rivalries, and he just kills them off easily. So that's all I've got to say. Next up is Mark Henry's attack on The Big Show. I didn't see much about this on Raw. That was not one of the topics that I can really talk to you too much about today, because, I mean, I heard that Mark Henry attacked The Big Show. I heard that Mark Henry, I guess thought Big Show was jealous of him or whatever, and this is pretty much a way to keep the Mark Henry and Big Show characters away from Rusev, while Rusev does whatever the fuck he's going to be doing. What else can I say about this? We're gonna see a Mark Henry versus Big Show match at Survivor Series. That's obvious. So, what do you guys think? Leave your comments and answers down below. Whatever. Next up is Team Cena versus Team Authority. On Monday, you heard that Team Authority was going to have their own team at Survivor Series. And then it would be against Team Cena. And I guess the storyline is who would want to join Team Cena, because Team Cena is going to be going against the Authority. Who wants to go against the Authority, and have that terrible, back nabs to him, not, what did I just fucking say, Mac nabs, this awful, pressure on them because of the Authority and going against the Authority, is just, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about this feud. It's just, I mean, it makes sense as to why they will want to go against each other, but Survivor Series, I'm just waiting for this match to be over with and to see the outcome. Next topic is, when will we see Daniel Bryan? I've heard rumors about him coming back at Survivor Series. Not sure if that's completely true, but it would make sense in this case scenario, him joining Team Cena, going against the Authority. What doesn't make sense about that? Daniel Bryan was against the Authority before he got injured. John Cena's against the Authority now. I guess Dolph Ziggler's against the Authority, so fuck off. Fuck you! So you've got 3 people going against the Authority, and that's pretty much all I have to say. You obviously know what's going to be going on. So Daniel Bryan. Damn it. Daniel Bryan, it's been rumored that he's going to come back at Survivor Series. I don't know. We'll find out later on. Next up is Titanfall and Crimson Red, questionably the best feud in USW right now. I'm just going to answer this with a simple maybe, possibly. Some of the characters are supposed to be getting developed on USW, that's all I can really say, so you may see better rivalries and feuds going on. Next up is Capital running for the reign record. Yes, Capital is running for the record of holding the USW World title for the longest amount of time, and he's on a good path, good road to it. He's doing pretty well on his, I guess he's doing pretty well with his, he's doing well with his, reign record, whatever. And last topic is why Ezra Rank Hills could win at Bulletproof 7. Ezra Rank Hills, the reason why he could win is because, you know, I may not be able to go up against two guys. I mean, I have faith in myself. I think I can do it. It's just a question of whether or not I have my head in the game in 5 weeks. So we'll just see where it goes on from there. And I've faced bigger odds than 2-on-1. I've faced 6-on-1 and beaten those odds. So what's different from 2-on-1? It's just another guy that I have to punch off the apron if he gets involved. So that's all I can say. And that's all I will say. And now the last topic or question is, who is the most interesting character right now in between WWE and USW? That's a good question. And obviously my opinion will differ from others. You know, some people may have different thoughts in WWE, some others may have different thoughts in USW. I'm obviously going to know USW better than WWE, but I know WWE pretty well, which says something. I think WWE, I think the most interesting character right now is Seth Rollins, because of the heat he's got right now going up against him. I would have said Bray Wyatt, but he's kind of got to get relevant again. He's just on the verge of irrelevance, so we've got to see him bounce back before I can really come to any conclusions. So I think Seth Rollins, because of the heat he has behind him, the heel heat, I think he's the most interesting character in WWE right now. In USW, let's see, there are guys like the HIG who's starting to develop a character. Capital, I don't really have a character. Well, my character is crazy, so I wouldn't really count that. You know, and then you have Prophecy and Cannon, and you have Machigetta, Western Light, Yo-Yo Joe. I'm gonna say, I think I've either got to go with Titanfall or Crimson Red. Titanfall's got that dark character, but he also has this power-hungry, strong character who really likes to inflict pain and really likes to, or really enjoys causing pain and really likes a fight. So that's the same with Capital, except he doesn't have that dark character or dark image to him. And Crimson Red, he's kind of developing a high flying, since he's a technical wrestler. He can also do some powerhouse moves. So Crimson Red could also fit in that category. I can't choose between both of them because they're two great characters. But I can signify Seth Rollins or single out Seth Rollins as WWE's most interesting character. I've got to go with either Titanfall or Crimson Red as USWE's most interesting character. So we just hit the 19-minute mark. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching. This was episode 6 of the UnitardZZ Wrestling Podcast. Remember to like, favorite, and subscribe for more. I'm Zach Hardy, signing off. I'll see you guys on Sunday for tournament episode 3, technically episode 2 when it comes to matchups. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, favorite, and subscribe for more. I'm Zach Hardy, signing off. Peace.